And we'll wait for it to kind of hook up and start recording. All right. So I think we're recording. I think we're live. And we're just going to spend the next 30 seconds or so. We're going to see if anybody joins us on this webinar. Of course, they'll be able to join and register as we're continuing on here, Jeff. So just kind of right now, I'm just making up some stuff to talk about to fill a little bit of dead space, just to let everybody know what's happening here. We can, of course, edit that part out later. The weather here in Wisconsin. Well, it's a cloudy day. It started off in the I think the 40s, low 40s. So that's about all I know about that. So. All right, I think we've maybe delayed enough seconds here. We'll kind of get into this and start rolling. So my name's Dan Bertelson. I'm just here as a host to this webinar to help both Jeff Olson and Rick Bernards of Remax Preferred, who are our HUD Homes representatives here, that are going to be doing this more regularly and putting on these presentations and these education seminars. So Jeff, why don't you take it from there? Let us know kind of where this came from, why it's happening, just whatever you think is pertinent information to give out.
Yeah. So HUD has BLV Resources actually has taken over the HUD 40 area recently, and they have outreach that they want us to do every month. So basically what we'll be doing is having going ahead and just having something similar to this.
Excellent.
Once a month, at least once a month anyway.
Okay.
We'll be going over, HUD contracts, all sorts of different things to do with HUD, because sometimes people can get intimidated by HUD, oh, what do I do? It's different contracts, all this kind of stuff. Well, we can make it pretty easy. And obviously our contact information is below. So if anyone has any questions, they can call us anytime. We can walk them through the whole process. So Rick put together this video that we'll be watching. It's kind of a slideshow.
Sure.
And did a really good job with it. And basically that'll kind of go over a lot of what we're going to be talking about. And we can answer any questions at the end of this too, of course, if anything comes up. And
excellent.
Like I said, anytime someone wants to call us, feel free. We're happy to go through and walk right through from the showing basically to closing. It'll make it easy for people. So
excellent. Well, I think that's a good enough. We've got a great video to show you that Rick put together with these first initial slides. Obviously, the overall goal here is literally just to help real estate professionals familiarize themselves with the HUD process, lower some of those fears or anxieties because it's a different set of rules, different processes, and everything else. And just so everybody understands, this is a mandate, correct? So this is something that the Fed is mandating that people do, and it's a good thing, right? I mean, I think back to 2008-9 when the market had a lot of this going on, and man, you guys were full-time educators then. So I guess this is just that next evolution of that, right? So.
Yep. We've been doing it about 10 years. We've sold several hundred properties. We're very familiar with the process. It's a little bit different than what people are used to with a normal transaction, but it's also very easy. Once you do it once, really, it just, it's easy from there on out. So
excellent. For future reference, and then we'll get to playing the video here throughout the presentation. If you have any comments and you happen to be watching this on one of the social channels, the streaming channels, you can certainly go ahead and follow the instructions on how to make a text comment from there. As Jeff mentioned, you guys can reach out to any of them or any other agents in the program. And they of course, will have the website all over this stuff, and we can post it in the comments as well. But yeah, just understand that these videos will be happening. If you need to ask questions and you've registered for the Zoom webinar link that is put out, go ahead and make sure that if you do have questions that you put them in the Q&A, not just the chat. We may find the chat and we may see it and we'll be able to track you down and get back to you and all that kind of stuff. But really, because it's a webinar format, the best thing you could do is go to the Q&A section and make sure that you put any of your questions there. And what's really nice about that is even if you're watching this as a recording and you're not here live, we're still going to be able to get back to you and get you that information and get you down going on the right track. So Jeff, do you have anything else before we kind of send it to Rick?
No, that should be it. We can probably start the slideshow.
Start the show. All right. Sounds great. I'll do that right now. All right. And here we go.
Hello, and welcome to the presentation, Successfully Selling HUD Homes. My name is Rick Bernards of RE/MAX Preferred. Along with my associate, Jeff Olson, we have listed and sold hundreds of HUD homes over the last 10 years. This presentation will provide an overview of the HUD bidding process, what a HUD home is, the requirements for bidding, and other important information to help you in selling HUD homes. HUD has the country divided into different regions. This presentation is for the state of Wisconsin, which is in the 4D region, along with Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota. Bidding and selling HUD homes is a very straightforward process. The process has been streamlined and is quite simple, but be aware that HUD rules and guidelines are strict. There are no exceptions to any HUD rules. Hopefully, after viewing this presentation, you will have the information you need to successfully bid and close on HUD homes. If you have further questions or comments, Jeff and I will provide our contact information at the end of the presentation. You can also reach out to any HUD local listing broker, also known as an LLB, with questions. We are all here to help. This presentation will cover the following: a HUD home overview, who can buy and sell HUD homes, the benefits of buying a HUD home. We will also touch on registering as a broker or an agent to submit bids, as well as the bidding and submitting process. We will also touch on the e-signature process once the bid has been accepted. A separate presentation on the e-signature process is currently in development and will be available soon. Again, you can reach out to any HUD local listing broker with questions. In addition to the local listing broker, you will be communicating with a few other entities if you receive an accepted bid. The Field Service Manager, or FSM, provides the property preservation for HUD properties. They mow the lawn, remove the snow, and provide property preservation. The FSM company for the state of Wisconsin is called Olson. If you get a bid accepted, you will deal directly with them for activating any utilities for inspections or appraisals. The Asset Manager, or AM, for Wisconsin is BLB Resources. You will deal with them for all accepted bids through the closing process. What is a HUD home? Simply put, it is an FHA insured mortgage that has gone into default. It has nothing to do with the condition or the location. It can be a single family home, condo, or any other residence up to 4 units. A buyer gets an FHA insured loan from their lender. They need to meet the requirements for that type of loan. If they go into default or foreclosure, the lender forecloses on the property. After the process is complete, the lender files a claim to HUD. HUD pays the lender and takes possession of the property. It is no longer a foreclosure, it is now a HUD home. Who can buy a HUD home? Individuals and investors, HUD-approved nonprofit organizations, or government entities. Buyers will need to secure a proper loan to purchase real estate. A pre-qualification letter from a lender or proof of cash funds is required. Priority is always given to owner-occupants. Certain timelines will apply to different purchasers. We will go over that in a little bit. What are some of the benefits of buying a HUD home? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost for owner-occupied bidders only. Closing costs must be submitted at the time of the bid. You cannot make any changes to the contract once it is accepted. HUD does not pay any closing costs on investor purchases. If the property is a HUD-owned condo, FHA condo approval is not required. Buyers should check with their lender before bidding for any other requirements. Many HUD homes will qualify for other FHA loans such as 203K, 203B, or 203B with escrow. These loans are designed to purchase HUD homes that may need some repair. Again, priority is always given to owner-occupied purchasers. HUD also has low earnest money requirements of $500, $1,000, or $2,000, depending upon the accepted bid. Certain HUD properties may be part of the Good Neighbor Next Door program. This program is open to law enforcement officers, pre-kindergarten through 12th grade teachers, firefighters, and emergency medical technicians. You can check property eligibility on the HUD site. All active HUD homes are listed at the official HUD site. That website is www.hudhomestore.com. This is the official site and supersedes any other information you may see on public sites. Do be wary that there are many sites that use HUD's information and may try to charge for it. HUD and BLB Resources provides quick responses to bids, usually within 24 hours unless it is the weekend or holiday. Again, some properties will qualify for FHA 203K financing. Check the supporting documents, disclosures, and condition reports for financing eligibility. If FHA financing is used, HUD will pay for termite inspections and treatment, although termites are not common in Wisconsin. All bids received are sealed and confidential. Local listing brokers do not have access to any bid information, including if any bids have been submitted. Properties are removed from the HUD site once a bid is accepted. Who can sell a HUD home? Any licensed real estate broker registered with HUD or an agent employed by a HUD registered broker. A NAID number is required to submit a bid, but it is not required to show a HUD home. The broker and agent must also register to bid on the www.hudhomestore.com website. A HUD registered broker or real estate agent must submit bids on behalf of an owner-occupant, investor, or Good Neighbor Next Door purchaser. Registered nonprofit organizations and government entities may submit bids without the use of a real estate broker or agent. Where can I find available HUD homes? The official website is hudhomestore.com. Be wary of other sites that may have old information or try to charge for information. If the home is not on the HUD site, it is not currently available for bids. HUD homes are also listed on their local MLS through the local listing broker, but always check the HUD site for availability. In order to submit bids, the broker must register at the HUD site for a NAID number. Once the broker is registered, the sales agents must also register with their license number under their broker's NAID number. Do not submit bids under anyone else's NAID or license number. It is considered fraud and could cause the broker's NAID to be canceled. It only takes a couple of minutes to register. A separate presentation is being finalized that will step the broker and agents through the registering process, or you can always contact a local listing broker for more information. Who is considered an owner-occupant? Any buyer purchasing property as a primary residence for at least 12 months after the close of escrow and has not purchased a HUD home as an owner-occupant within the past 24 months. The buyer will sign an affidavit stating that they are an owner-occupied purchaser. A word of caution: falsifying information regarding owner-occupant status is considered a felony and is punishable by a fine not to exceed $250,000 and or a prison sentence of not more than 2 years. Buyers, local listing brokers, and selling brokers can all be investigated by HUD. After a property is listed, a licensed broker or agent shows the property. HUD registered selling brokers and agents submit bids electronically on the HUD site. HUD and BLB Resources will review the bids for acceptability. Brokers with accepted offers will be notified by hudhomestore.com and BLB Resources. Accepted bids will require earnest money. No personal checks are accepted at any time for earnest money. The earnest money must be a cashier check or money order. It must be made out to the buyer's selected closing agent. The closing agent is also the title company. The title company used must also be registered with HUD. The earnest money must be delivered to the local listing broker within 48 hours of bid acceptance. This does not mean sent within 48 hours. It means actual receipt of the earnest money by the local listing broker within 48 hours. Be sure you make a copy of the earnest money check before delivering it, as you will need a copy to send to HUD for the accepted bid. Once all the proper documentation and earnest money have been received, the selling agent and buyers will e-sign the contract. HUD will then sign the contract and send it out to the selling agent and buyers. Closing can take place at the title company, or it may be emailed to buyers for signatures. HUD does not allow keys to be given out. Buyer is responsible for rekeying the property. The local listing broker will remove all signage and lockboxes. The following closing timeframes are in effect for all properties, and there are no exceptions. 30 days for investor purchasers, regardless of the financing type. 30 days for cash and hard money purchasers, regardless of the purchaser type. 45 days for owner occupants using a 203B, 203B repair escrow, or conventional financing. 60 days for owner occupants using 203K financing. If your transaction does not close within the above timeframes, a cancellation packet or extension packet must be submitted. There may be an extension fee assessed for exceeding the timeframe. How do I show a HUD home? It's easy. Homes are vacant with standard MLS lockbox or combo boxes at the time of listing. If keys are missing from a lockbox or combo box, please contact the local listing broker to have it replaced. Please note that all purchasers must be accompanied by a state licensed broker or agent when viewing any HUD home. Do not give out lockbox codes to buyers. If you are found doing that, your broker NAID can be revoked. Also, given the current environment we are in, when showing a HUD home, please be sure to abide by any COVID-19 orders or guidelines. Your well-being should always be the priority. Do I need a pre-approval letter to submit a bid? Yes, yes, and yes. You need to have the actual lender letter or proof of funds in hand prior to bidding. Do not take the buyer's word. Further, it must be the proper type of loan to purchase an as-is, no repair property. Check the property condition report. If the plumbing did not hold pressure or the electric could not be energized, you will not be able to turn water or electric on for any inspection or appraisal. That will limit the financing options available. Always check with the lender before bidding to be sure the proper type of financing is being used. Do not waste your time, the buyer's time, or HUD's time. You do not want to be 30 days in and find out the lender will not underwrite the loan due to water needing to be turned on. There are no exceptions to this rule. Contact the local listing broker if you have questions regarding the financing. This leads to the next slide, stressing the importance of qualified buyers. Be sure the buyer has proper financing. Review the property condition report and disclosures for clues on the type of financing required. Buyers should actually have toured the property so they have a visual representation of the property condition. What needs to be included in a pre-qualification or pre-approval letter? The letter must be printed on the lender's letterhead, must be dated within the past 30 days, and include the buyer's name and the amount of the loan. Note, if the pre-qual or pre-approval amount is less than purchase price, purchaser must provide proof of funds for the difference. Lender's contact information and signature are also required. Proof of funds must also be on letterhead and dated within the last 30 days. What happens if the buyer overbids and the property does not appraise? The buyer must make up the difference. The buyer's lender will order a new appraisal. However, the appraised value must meet the purchase price, or the buyer will need to come up with the difference in cash between their appraised value and the purchase price. There is no renegotiating the purchase price. How are bids submitted? Bids can only be submitted through the HUD's website hudhomestore.com. Brokers must have an active NAID number. The broker and agent must be registered with hudhomestore.com. Submit bids by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time by the bid deadline date. All bid deadline information is available on the HUD site. Next, we will go over the listing period and the bid review update. Here is a screenshot from the HUD site for an exclusive listing period property. At the top is the eligible bidders and bid deadline. Now refer to the right side of the screen under listing information. The list date, listing period, and deadlines are all there. The listing period will either be exclusive or extended. Exclusive means it is only open to owner-occupied or nonprofit bidders. Bids can be submitted anytime before the deadline. However, no bids will be reviewed until the initial first 10-day deadline has passed. If it says extended, it is open to all bidders, including investors. There is a 15-day exclusive listing period for owner-occupant buyers on properties listed as insured or insured with escrow. If there are no acceptable owner-occupant bids received during the first 15 days, these properties will be featured in the extended listing period with bids reviewed daily, Monday through Friday. The length of an exclusive listing period for uninsured properties is 5 days. Again, no bids are reviewed for the first 10 days on insurable properties during the exclusive list period, although bids can be submitted at any time. How does it work if bids are submitted over weekends or holidays? All bids received on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be opened the next business day and will be considered as received simultaneously. If Monday is a holiday, all bids received on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday will be reviewed on Tuesday. If Friday is a holiday, all bids received on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be reviewed on Monday. If a holiday falls midweek, bids received on the day prior to the holiday and on the holiday will be reviewed the following business day, unless there is a listing period change or the holiday is in the middle of a 5 or 10-day bid accumulation period. For example, if a holiday is on a Wednesday, all bids received on Tuesday and Wednesday will be reviewed on Thursday. How will I be notified if my bid is accepted? When BLB Resources accepts a bid, the selling agent who submitted the winning bid will be notified by BLB Resources and hudhomestore.com. BLB Resources will also notify the agent by email or a phone call. Currently, all other bidders are not notified. You can always log into the HUD site to check the status of your bid with your bid confirmation number. How much does HUD pay towards closing costs and commissions? For closing costs, HUD will pay up to 3% towards a buyer's closing costs if it is negotiated in the original bid and the contract is for owner-occupieds only. HUD does not pay closing costs for investor purchasers. HUD will pay commissions up to 6% total unless otherwise noted, up to 3% to the selling broker unless otherwise noted, and 3% to the listing broker unless otherwise noted. Buyers are allowed home inspections, but the contract is not contingent on the inspection. It is informational only for the buyer. If the buyer cancels due to inspection issues, their earnest money will be at risk. Be sure you review the earnest money forfeiture disclosure contained in the sales contract. Buyers have 15 days from the date of the signed contract to conduct a home inspection. The buyer will need to get utility activation approval from the field service manager to activate electric or water. There may be a fee required. The FSM will let you know. If approved, the buyer has a 72-hour window at buyer's expense to turn on any approved utilities. If the plumbing does not hold pressure, you will not be able to activate the water for any reason. Again, the contract is not contingent on inspections. Prior to closing, the buyer may not do any home improvements, repairs, landscaping, etc. They may not occupy the property or change locks. They cannot store anything on the premises. Any of these actions are prohibited and are grounds for cancellation and forfeiture of earnest money. May I give my buyer a key at closing? The answer is no. HUD does not allow keys to be given out. Arrangements will be made for buyer access, but keys cannot be given out. Buyers should immediately rekey for their own safety and security. All contracts and required documentation will be through the e-signature process. You will receive specific instructions for you and the buyer. It is quite simple. All parties privy to the sales contract will receive direct emails at designated times in the workflow requiring verification and e-signatures of the sales contract documents. A training video on the e-signature process will soon be available. All agents must opt into the e-signature process unless a paper contract submission is approved by HUD per extenuating circumstances. HUD's expectation is that most sales contracts will be conducted via e-signature. If you receive an accepted bid, you will receive an email with a bid checklist. Selling agents must double-check the accuracy of the checklist of the accepted bids tab on the HUDHomestore.com website. Selling agents should obtain a copy of the buyer's Social Security number in order to ensure that the Social Security number is accurately entered on HUD Home Store. The selling agent will have an opportunity to verify the checklist after bid acceptance in order to ensure that all the info is correct and to upload the necessary and required documents. There have been many sales that are canceled and delayed due to the following issues: buyer name errors, buyer Social Security number errors, buyer address errors, and buyer email address errors. Accuracy of the bid submission and checklist information must be stressed upon to all selling agents as they enter a contract. This is a federal contract. Again, the earnest money must be a cashier's check or money order made out to the title company the buyer has selected. It must be delivered to the local listing broker within 48 hours. Do not send it to HUD or BLB Resources. Also, be sure to make a copy for yourself because you will need it to submit the contract. If the buyer is a cash purchaser, then proof of funds is required and needs to be confirmed before submitting a bid. It must show funds equal to or greater than the purchase price. If obtaining financing, a valid pre-qualification letter must be included with the approved loan amount that is equal to or greater than the purchase price. Purchasers may be required to show proof of additional funds if the loan amount is less than the purchase price. Escrow amount, if any, must also be included. The letter must be on lender's letterhead with the loan officer's email address and contact information. Be aware that selling agents can no longer sign the e-signature contract. It must be signed by the broker whose NAID number the bid was submitted under. The NAID broker can authorize another broker to sign the contract, but not a sales agent. This broker authorization form will be provided to you if needed. This will include the presentation. If you have further questions or comments, you may contact myself or Jeff Olson, or contact a HUD local listing broker of the property you are interested in. We are here to help you. Thank you.